Live from WLNS-TV, this is 6 News at 6.
Huge news today as MSU settles with the survivors of Larry Nassar's abuse to the tune of $500 million. 6 News is here for you tonight with team coverage of how victims are responding, how MSU officials feel about the settlement, and with reaction from campus. We start tonight with a breakdown of the settlement itself. Jorma Duran is here for you now live in our studio. Jorma, how does the settlement work and where is all that money going?
Lauren, we spoke today with an attorney who represents more than 100 of the women and girls involved in the massive civil suit that includes MSU. He says the victims are getting the lion's share of the $500 million settlement. $425 million will go to current abuse survivors who have already filed claims, and that means at least 330 women and girls. This is all a result of Larry Nassar's conviction of sexually abusing his patients under the guise of medical treatment while working as a gymnastics doctor at Michigan State. Now, that money will not be divided equally between all the victims. It will be dispersed based on criteria, including when they were assaulted, whether they were a minor at the time, the duration of the assaults against them, and the impact it has had on their lives, for instance, if they required medical treatment or therapy. The remaining $75 million of the settlement will go into a trust fund for any future claims, since more Larry Nassar survivors are still coming forward. Now, to be clear, this settlement only covers the lawsuits against MSU. They do not involve any of the other defendants being sued by Nassar survivors. Right now, that list includes USA Gymnastics, the U.S. Olympic Committee, the Twistars Gymnastics Club, the club's owner, John Geddert, or the Carollis, a famous gymnastics training couple who own a ranch in Texas where Nassar also worked. And remember, Nassar himself has been sentenced to 60 years in federal prison, as well as more than a century behind bars for assaults in Ingham and Eaton counties. Lauren, back to you.
All right, thank you, Jorma. We send things now to Alexandra Illich. She reached out to some of these survivors to get their response to the settlement today. She joins us now live from our newsroom. Allie, what are they saying?
Those I've talked to say they're relieved. It's been a very long process for many of these women, especially those who have been at the forefront since the very beginning. And it hasn't been easy. Some of them have been mocked or accused of being called ambulance chasers just looking for a payday. Money is not something these women say they're looking for. They want to make sure that when the next young girl or boy tells an adult that they were sexually abused, that the adult will listen. And as you're about to hear, just because the litigation phase of this process is over, the fight for change is only just beginning.
Very happy with the resolution. I think it's definitely a good first step. I think there's a lot of room we can grow with policy, changes there, and all of us being advocates for the children of Michigan and children in the future, making sure nothing like this can ever happen again and making sure we're taking preventative measures.
Rachel Denhollander, the first to come forward about the abuse, feels the same. In a statement today, she said she's grateful that the litigation process is over, but remains deeply disappointed at the missed opportunity for meaningful reform at MSU. She says, quote, "The fight for change and accountability, the fight to give survivors a voice and protect the next generation has only just begun. We intend to stand united with and for all survivors of abuse as we work together towards these goals." You'll hear from more women coming up later tonight at 11. Michigan State University is also speaking out about the settlement. Aaron Jordan picks things up from here with more on what officials there are saying.
MSU trustee Joel Ferguson told me today that the settlement is a good thing for both the accusers and MSU, saying he hopes it helps both sides move forward.
Well, I think the settlement, we bring closure for the victims and survivors.
And Ferguson vowed the board's work is not going to stop.
We're going to be working extra hard to make certain nothing like this ever happens again, and that we make certain our campus is really safe, and that we have the checks and balances so a person like Nassar could never slip through the cracks.
He also praised the work of MSU Interim President John Engler, Board of Trustees Chair Brian Breslin, and Special Counsel to MSU and former Michigan Supreme Court Chief Justice Robert Young. He credits them with making the settlement possible.
Without them, we couldn't have brought closure to this, or into this chapter.
Interim President John Engler also weighed in on the settlement, saying a successful mediation process was a priority for him since he took the job, adding, "The entire MSU community has worked hard at changes to make sure a monster like Larry Nassar could never again hide on our campus." Today's announcement is important in the healing process for both the survivors, but also for the university as we collectively move forward. You can see what other MSU officials are saying online right now at WLNS.com. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Aaron. Well, the settlement announcement took some MSU students on campus by surprise. As Dana White reports, student leaders consider this to be a step in the right direction, but they also feel more needs to be done before real change is accomplished.
It's definitely encouraging. It's a step forward for survivors. It's good that MSU is taking some action, but there still are a lot of concerns.
Natalie Rogers helped start Reclaim MSU with a goal in mind: to create a culture of transparency on campus. She says the Larry Nassar victim settlement is a good start, but she also says that justice isn't monetary.
We still need substantial policy changes. We still need resignations. We still need some form of apology from MSU that isn't just money.
Jennifer Collins is the aunt of an MSU student and agrees that it's important for the university to do more than just a settlement.
I'd say no amount of money can really repay the victims for what they've been through.
Rogers says the impact of the Nassar scandal is taking a toll on the campus community. And although the university is taking some action, she says it needs to continue.
What happened didn't just hurt the survivors, it also hurt everyone who cares about MSU. So we need to know that our leaders and this institution is going to take real steps to account for what happened here.
Here for you in East Lansing, Dana White, 6 News.
Michigan Attorney General Bill Schuette weighed in on the settlement today, applauding the deal. He says he's pleased with the agreement and that every woman who came forward against Nassar deserves justice. Schuette's office was involved in prosecuting the criminal side of the Nassar case. Special counsel Bill Forsyth says the criminal investigation is still open and ongoing. The AG's office also filed an administrative complaint against former MSU Dean Dr. William Strample today. It accuses Strample of health code violations stemming from his own actions and the Nassar scandal. Now, the complaint alleges that Strample made inappropriate comments to female students, had inappropriate photos on his computer, including nude pictures of MSU students and pornography. It also claims that Strample aided and abetted Larry Nassar by not reporting his violations. Strample continues to deny accusations of wrongdoing against him. Meanwhile, ESPN announced in a tweet today that Nassar survivors will be honored at the 2018 ESPY Awards with the Arthur Ashe Courage Award. The network says it wants to acknowledge the survivors for speaking up, fighting back, and demanding accountability. The award is presented to people whose bravery transcends sports. Well, stay with 6 News. We are covering every angle of the Larry Nassar scandal, and we will continue to bring you the latest developments as they happen. Well, stick around. David Young is up after the break. He has your forecast for you. Thanks for watching 6 News at 6. We'll be right back.
This is Weather First from Storm Tracker 6. Brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance, the no problem people.
Today is one of those pure Michigan days. Temperatures near 80, light winds, just gorgeous out there. And we're still in the upper 70s, close to 80 degrees. Satellite and radar, a couple things of note. First and foremost, the beautiful skies we have overhead. We're also watching the clouds to our south. There is a bit of moisture gathering there, and that may play a role in our forecast as we head into the weekend. We'd hope some of this moisture would stay south and east, but I think it may pay us a visit by late Friday night. Temperatures across the area this afternoon: 77 Howell, Mason 78, mid-70s in Charlotte. Everyone very comfortable outside. Our live conditions: blue skies, lots of blue skies on our St. John's Tower cam, and our current temperature in downtown St. John's at 80 degrees. Perfect out there. Winds west at around 5-6 miles per hour. WLNS Tower cam, not to be outdone. More blue skies. Temperature a little cooler, 79 degrees. As we check out the view currently on our Grand Ledge Tower cam. Temperature sits at 80 degrees, also seeing plenty of sunshine. Few more clouds showing up on the Jackson cam this afternoon. Not much, but it does make a little bit of a difference. Temperature in the upper 70s, west winds at 6. And the Hillsdale Tower cam, few cumulus clouds, but none that are going to give us any rainfall. Temperature is definitely a little cooler the further south you go this afternoon, ironically enough, with readings in the mid to the upper 70s. As we check out Precision Cast for the overnight hours, no changes to the forecast, mostly clear skies. Really nice start today, tomorrow. I think the only thing you'll notice tomorrow is a little more wind in the afternoon. Temperature still upper 70s, close to 80. But now we start to watch this moisture to our south. Thursday night and into Friday, that area of low pressure is drifting north and east, but then it kind of puts the brakes on as we head into Friday morning. By Friday afternoon, that low pressure will drift a little further towards the west-northwest, and as it does so, it'll begin to move some clouds and some precipitation in our direction. The rainfall stays south of the state line through sunset, but by Friday night into early Saturday morning, chance for some rain beginning to move into the area. The good news is most of it comes during the overnight hours. It looks like as we move into Saturday afternoon, this area of precipitation will shift further east, get out of our area, and we'll see drier conditions returning, and that could bode well for Sunday's forecast as well. Tonight, we'll see low temperatures dropping into the mid-50s, mostly clear skies, average lows in the upper 40s, so a bit on the mild side. Your Thursday forecast shaping up to be another nice day, high 78 degrees, winds northeast around 5 to maybe 15 miles per hour. The 6-day forecast, so as we move into Friday night, that rain moves in. Saturday during the morning hours, it could begin to slip further east, so just a couple showers out there. On Sunday, it looks like the rain may hold off until late in the day, so really the majority of the weekend may end up being okay. Highs in the upper 70s, a few morning showers on Monday, the 6-plus 6-day forecast. Highs remain pleasant between 75 and 80 as we head through next week into next weekend, and overnight lows generally in the 50s. Here's a look at your traffic tracker this afternoon, which is just fine. All green on the area highways, so travel weather and the roads right now in good shape. We slide further south on 127 into Jackson County, looking good as well. No accidents to report, and I love giving that kind of good news. I've got good news in the weather. I've got good news on traffic. What's next?
Yeah, you're 2 for 2 today, right?
Doing okay.
Just roll down the windows, enjoy the weather, and it looks like we're in a nice pattern too. A little bit of rain, but overall really nice.
And not the heavy rain that we've seen. Some rain we get the beneficial rain that gets out of here.
Right, yeah, we're definitely already soggy. We don't need more of that. All right, thanks, David. Well, up next here on 6 News at 6, we continue our special report on Michigan's hidden secret and hit the road with state police for a first-hand look at the state of sex trafficking here in the capital city. Stay with us. Our special 6 News investigation of Michigan's hidden secret continues tonight with an in-depth look into the sex trafficking that's happening right here in Lansing. I recently rode along with a Michigan State Police trooper who's found himself at the forefront of these investigations as more and more cases are reported locally. We're out on the streets of Lansing with Michigan State Police Trooper Sam North.
This is one of the areas that I'll drive through here and there and see if we can come up with anything.
As he patrols Lansing's neighborhoods looking for any signs of sex trafficking and prostitution.
Lansing's a big enough city where it is prevalent and it's happening every day.
Both on and off the road, these days Trooper North spends more and more time investigating local cases of sex trafficking.
I think people would be surprised about how much sex trafficking there is in Lansing.
It's not a crime he set out to become an expert in, but one that rose to the forefront when he discovered his first case during a traffic stop at the corner of Pennsylvania and Hazel, less than a mile from Potter Park Zoo.
I actually stopped it just right up here by this white truck over there.
During that stop, Trooper North says some things just didn't add up, like the age and relationship of the 3 people inside.
The girl in the front seat also gave me an out-of-state ID card, which can be a red flag in these cases as well, because a lot of times with prostitution, people travel. It ended up being a case that was charged locally here for human trafficking.
That case led to another, and that one to another, and Trooper North soon found himself submerged in local investigations.
There are a lot of places that are known as houses of prostitution in the Lansing area. This could be an area for that. There's a lot of drug use in this area. There's a lot of criminal activity.
Sex trafficking is hidden under the dark veil of prostitution. It's a crime that looks a lot different here in Lansing these days. In the past, women could be seen walking the streets day and night, approaching prospective clients who drove by. But Trooper North says that, for the most part, has changed.
Nowadays, with the internet, it's so easy for an ad to be posted for prostitution and have a date scheduled between the customer and between the John and the girl, where they can just drive directly from their house to the John's house or to a hotel, and there's really not that much advertising that you see on the streets.
And that's not the only difference. Prostitution was for many years considered a victimless crime. But now, Trooper North says the old thought that women are prostituting themselves for their own personal gain couldn't be further from the truth.
What's usually happening is there is some sort of manipulation, there's some sort of benefit to somebody else.
And many of the women are victims of someone they trust.
The victims might have a dating relationship, or at least think that they're in a dating relationship, or that their boyfriend loves them, or this guy loves them, and yeah, you know, he's got these other girlfriends too, but I'm the most important one, and they're only here to help out, you know, occasionally for a little bit so that we can pay for rent. Anything could be justified in their heads because what they're feeling is emotional and it's not necessarily logical.
While the majority of cases Trooper North has seen involve adults, children are very often the victims of this growing crime.
I've had cases where it's been a daughter of a suspect where the mom's been the trafficker.
And while sex trafficking is happening everywhere, he says it's more concentrated in the cities.
The more people that are low income, struggling families, people with drug addiction, all those things kind of are risk factors for prostitution, and when you have a lot of that in a small area, you're going to get a lot more prostitution.
They're going to take you.
Sex trafficking is a scary thing, but it's not like you see in the movies. You aren't likely to be randomly grabbed, kidnapped, drugged, and sold for sex.
I don't want people to be scared that if they go to the store, they're going to be sex trafficked. I mean, that's not going to happen. I think it's safe to say that you can go grocery shopping in Lansing.
But Trooper North warns that these days, our children are all vulnerable of being lured away by someone who wants to sell them for sex, no matter where you come from or where you live.
My best recommendation for people to avoid that would be to not let your kids use social media, but especially young kids, but if they are using social media, you better be watching what they're doing because anything can happen.
While new legislation and many new programs aim to help survivors, Trooper North says despite growing efforts to stop it, sex trafficking will never really go away as long as there are people out there who are willing to pay for sex. Well, if you are being trafficked or you know someone who might be and you need help, you can call the National Human Trafficking Resource Center. That number is 888-3737, 888. We also have a list of resources in the Scene on 6 section of WLNS.com. And tomorrow here on 6 News at 6, we look at a growing movement from an organization called Truckers Against Trafficking. Its mission is to educate, equip, empower, and mobilize members of the trucking and busing industries to combat human trafficking. Jorma Duran will show you how they're doing it. That's tomorrow as we continue our special investigation of Michigan's hidden secret. Well, stay with us. David is back after the break. He has a final check of your forecast. Well, the warm weather has returned, so what are we wearing tomorrow?
Let's take a look at the wheel of wardrobe. No, just kidding. No snow boots needed tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to go with the t-shirt because temperatures, they're going to be warm in the afternoon in the upper 70s. My daughter was determined to wear just her t-shirt this morning and shorts as opposed to long pants and a long sleeve shirt. But she said, Daddy, it's just too warm. And she's right. It was nice out there. The 6-day forecast is more warm weather through the weekend. Highs a little cooler, low to mid-70s. It doesn't rain all day Saturday or Sunday. It looks like the best chance is Saturday morning and then again Sunday evening. Highs in the upper 70s on Monday, some morning showers, mid-70s on Tuesday, and it stays warm in that 6+ 6-day forecast. Highs between 75 or 80 and a little bit better. Next Sunday, 81 degrees, maybe a few storms around on Saturday, but no major storm systems around, which the rivers are still running quite high. So we need a little more, plenty more, in fact, a lot more dry out time to let those rivers recede a little bit. Not obviously as bad as the big flood we had a couple months ago, but still they're pretty high out there.
Safe to say the winter stuff is out though, right?
It's done, yeah. Safe to plant now.
Just dressing in layers. A little cool in the morning and then soaking up the sun and warmth by the afternoon.
Yeah, don't forget the sunscreen, by the way. UV index is pretty high the next few days.
All right, good tip. Thanks, David. And thank you for watching 6 News at 6. We hope you have a great evening, and then we'll see you back here again tonight for 6 News at 11.